Aha! Yes, hello there everyone. It's August, isn't it? Means it's time for a channel update. Of course, these usually happen at the beginning of the month, and here we are, not quite at the beginning anymore, are we? In fact, the channel has been almost completely dead for the last 2 weeks. Yes. So let me back up a bit and tell you what's been going on. And to do that, we have to start at the middle of last month. So, just like the year before, I went up to the very north of Sweden to a small village called Sävast, near the town of Boden. There, my girlfriend organized a 10-day game jam called Valkyrie Jam, which I helped her with. In specific, she doesn't have a driver's license, which meant I did all of the driving. It's about a 12 hours one-way trip, and then lots of driving on site. The site we were at has an incredibly rich history, with one of the houses being really ancient, and there's an actual Viking burial site there as well. The surroundings are also incredibly beautiful in the summertime, and it's far enough north that it never really gets dark. What you're seeing now is some footage I got while we were there. I had plenty of pre-recorded video content for that, and I was able to stream from there too, so some of you probably caught some streams from the fan server while I was there. Anyway, we came home, and then I basically had 5 days at home before the next trip to an event called the Medieval Week, taking place on an island called Gotland. It's about a 4 or 5 hour journey by car and ferry from where we live. I'll tell you more about that in a minute, but first about the time before that trip. Anyway, one of those days just passed by just me sleeping and recovering from the drive home. And then the plan was that we do some work for laying down a proper floor in the attic, and then in the evenings I'll do a whole bunch of recordings, so I had material to edit during the ferry ride. And then I do stream on the Saturday since we were leaving on the Sunday, so I'd only miss a single stream while we were away. And that seemed like the perfect plan. Not only would I have something to do during an otherwise quite boring, like 3.5 hour crossing, I'd also have videos up while I was away with minimum disturbances to the schedule. That content included this channel update, the supporter Q&A video, and episodes of Feed the Beast Continuum. So, we started doing the work in the attic. It went reasonably well, until we realized that the people who owned this place before had no idea what they were doing, and had messed up in numerous interesting ways, let's just say. The renovation up there is going to take a whole bunch more work than we had planned for, and, well, the other thing was that I was entirely exhausted in the evenings. There was no way I could muster the energy to record the way I'd planned to. I was basically dead. I just sat and rested and slept and watched some videos. And at first I felt like I was entirely out of shape, which is pretty worrying actually, and I probably am. But then after the next day I got an entirely different explanation. I got ill. Completely knocked out with a fever kind of ill. So for the next 2 days I basically didn't do much other than feel like I was dying on the sofa. And the little energy I did have was spent trying to pack our things and prepare for the trip. So last Sunday we left. I was starting to feel a bit better by then, but I had no recordings at all. And my voice had turned absolutely awful. I sounded like a mountain troll or something. You know, whenever I record in the morning, I get questions in the comments like, "Are you sick? Are you depressed? You sound different." Trust me, this would have made you all think I was dying. So I packed my microphone. I thought I could just record a channel update while I was there instead, but yeah, it's taking a long time to feel better from this thing. And it didn't feel worthwhile recording something in bad conditions in a hotel room like the day before we went home. So anyway, now we're back home. It's better now. It's still not entirely good. You might be able to hear something on my voice still, but it's much better now. Problem is my vacation is about to end, so I'll be coming back to work feeling exhausted rather than refreshed, which is not entirely ideal. Anyway, those of you who've followed the channel for a long time, like several years, will have heard about this event before, maybe even multiple times before. I've gone there every year the last 6 or 7 years. The Medieval Week is sort of a festival and reenactment event that brings together a huge amount of people, and we all go to the city of Visby. As an old city, it still has its medieval stone defensive wall left standing. And then for an entire week there are events ranging from lectures about medieval things to fire shows and medieval folk bands playing. Not to mention tons of good food and drink and friends and everything. And it's made even more awesome by the fact that most people that visit will buy or make their own medieval style clothes. And I have multiple sets of clothes for this thing by now. I tend to get a few more items every year, and some of the footage here is showing you some of this stuff. Anyway, that's enough about that. If you're interested in that type of event, I highly recommend it, but make sure you book a place to stay like half a year in advance, because all of the available places tend to run out very quickly. And with that said, let's do a recap of more channel-related things. The third season of the fan server is up and running properly. It's been a great start. I've really enjoyed playing on it and also streaming from it. That's been awesome. What hasn't been as awesome has been the map-making streams. The ideas were that we'd go back to having map-making streams on Sundays and fan server streams on Tuesdays after the Dragon event. But the problem is, the map-making streams really need a lot of preparations for me, and I've had very little time to get into a good position with that. I still want to get back to that, but it's been tricky, and it's going to be even more tricky now that I've been ill and ran out of video backlog entirely. So, we'll try to get those rolling again, but I can't really promise when. The same goes for the new series. I've mentioned 2 new series before. One is a tutorial series that needs a ton of work up front before I can start uploading and publishing the first video for it. I think you'll understand why once I start uploading it. I don't know when that can happen. I'm still sort of trying to put in time to that whenever I have the time, but I haven't had much time. The other is a new main survival challenge series. I've been itching to do this one for ages, but I've waited for a replay mod version to be available for 1.13 or above. And you know what? Now there is one. There's a beta version for the replay mod out. It's built on top of the Fabric mod loader, and it's been available for Minecraft 1.14.2 and above. And I've only managed to get it working for 1.14.2 this far. There are versions for 1.14.3 and 0.4, but when I try it, it crashed on startup for me, so I've actually started recording a bit for that series on Minecraft 1.14.2 now, which is really exciting. The problem here is that this series is going to be like my previous main survival series, Hotbar Survival and Glass Core were. It's a huge amount of effort put into every episode with lots of replay mod stuff and music matching and stuff like that. So since I've run out of buffered content, that's going to have to take a back seat for a while, but I figured it might be cool to know that it's coming and that I've been able to start recording it. I'm not quite ready to reveal the full extent of it yet. I think we should keep it a little bit of a surprise, but I'll give you some hints. It's going to be a hardcore series, and it's going to be by far the hardest challenge that I have ever taken on in Minecraft. So, something to look forward to, I think. In other news, not much is going on at the moment. Minecraft 1.14.4 is supposed to be the last version of Minecraft 1.14, so there are no more news videos about that. Snapshot videos will return as soon as snapshots start happening again, of course. The supporters Q&A video will be the next thing up after this one. I'm hoping to have that one up tomorrow. If you don't know what that is, it's one of the perks you get from supporting the channel with a paid membership, either as a YouTube membership, on Twitch by subscribing, or on Patreon by becoming a patron. You get to ask me any question or questions that you'd like, and I try to answer in an as extensive and entertaining way as possible. Not to mention that you get access to the fan server and you can play there with me. Anyway, the intent is that streams start back up today, hopefully, tonight. Feed the Beast Continuum will return this Friday, and then start running Mondays and Fridays as before. At least that's what I'm thinking and hoping. Fingers crossed. And then streams will be Sundays and Tuesdays as before as well. And well, that's about all really. Pretty long channel update this time, but I wanted to share all the things that have happened with all of you. If you want to find out this stuff earlier, if you've been wondering where all the videos have been, I recommend that you follow me on Twitter, which is where I tend to post most frequently about things that happen in my life, which tends to affect videos and everything else on the channel. Discord is another good place to look if you're wondering what's going on. And that really is all. Thank you very much everyone, I really appreciate your support. I hope you've enjoyed this channel update, and I hope you'll enjoy the content that is coming. For now, take care. Slicedlime out.